animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha. And it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kaine. These are not alphas. Trump
Really interesting.
is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person. Just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away.
Exchange as Bill Maher opened real time with his trademark humor, diving straight into Nikki Haley's bold proposal: mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75. With a sly grin, Maher joked about the irony of asking leaders who control decisions on war and the economy to first prove they can complete a Sudoku puzzle, a comment that drew laughter from the audience. Turning to guest Ari Melber, Maher questioned whether Haley's idea was a genuine attempt at reform or simply political theater aimed at both Biden and Trump. Melber, ever insightful, emphasized the double-edged nature of Haley's suggestion. It appeared to call for fresh leadership while also critiquing the current frontrunners, all without naming names. Together,
Have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kaine. These are not alphas. It's like this thing of like, let's get a woman and then a docile man who's in every commercial where he's the asshole while mom takes care of business. That's not a message that makes the tribe go, who is strong? Who's strong? Who's strong? Tim Walz. No. Oh, give me rock. I need to kill myself because Tim Walz. That you gotta appeal to people at a sort of post-civilization stage where we're kind of at on a primal level.
can truly outweigh occasional memory lapses. More importantly, they reflected on the role of voters in holding candidates accountable, regardless of age. The conversation blended wit with serious insight, highlighting the ongoing debate over age, experience, and fitness for leadership in American politics. Next voice, next voice. From where I sit as an audience member, Nikki Haley's proposal for mental competency tests for politicians over 75 feels like a double-edged sword. On one hand, the idea seems reasonable. After all, we already
message, and then you find you find the messenger. No, but that's how it worked for Trump.
That's the worst thing the Democrats always say. Message, message. Yeah, first of all, they did and they don't like it. Second of all, they don't give a shit. It's not about the message. Trump changes his message from day to day. Tariffs everywhere, tariffs nowhere.
Those are policy
it doesn't
decisions.
matter. But they don't care about policy.
His
They
message-
don't understand it. His message is, I'm me, I'm strong, and I'm daddy. They're on this daddy thing, and people want a daddy. Tucker Carlson, that whole thing, you've heard that thing about daddy came home and you need a spanking. And I'm like, this is getting a little weird, Mrs. Robinson. Daddy, but you know what? That's what works, and that's what people respond to. They don't know the issues. They don't know the facts.
I agree.
And they have no interest in learning about them. They're like an animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha.
like airline pilots and surgeons, where a lapse in judgment can have serious consequences. Given the enormous responsibility politicians carry, decisions affecting national security, the economy, and millions of lives, it's fair to ask why they shouldn't be held to similar standards. However, there's also something troubling about where this could lead. It risks veering into age discrimination. Experience, insight, and decades of public service aren't easily replaced. Automatically questioning someone's fitness based solely on age could devalue the important contributions of older leaders. In fact, some younger politicians lack the depth and perspective necessary to handle complex challenges, proving that wisdom isn't solely tied to youth. What really stands out to me is that this debate is less about age or cognitive tests, and more
Is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are, the people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. And that kind of shit, nobody else does it.
Builds a candidate's fitness through debates, speeches, interviews, and their public track record. Mandating tests might suggest that the public can't judge for themselves who is capable or not. While calls for competency tests may resonate with those disillusioned by current leadership, they could also alienate a generation that has earned its place at the table. Rather than focusing narrowly on age, perhaps the better path is to strengthen accountability standards for all leaders, no matter their age. Competence isn't confined to a birth year. It's reflected in performance, judgment, and the ability to lead responsibly. Next voice.
And do that, and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I got to give it up. Like when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. I was like, oh, can we just play the music now? Because I don't care, it's Donald Trump and he's the worst person ever, blah, blah, blah. I fucking love that. One time they were doing something was going on with, and he said, you know what? When you come after New York, you got to go through me. It's like, oh, hometown boy. You know, he has those moments that no other politician has. And the Democrats have to find that guy.
Traditionally blue states like California and New York to lower tax, red-leaning states such as Florida and Tennessee signals a major shift in how Americans are reevaluating quality of life, cost of living, and government policies. This trend appears to reflect growing dissatisfaction with the high taxes, soaring housing costs, and strict regulations found in many blue states. For some, issues like rising crime rates, aging infrastructure, and lingering effects of pandemic-era policies, including the rise of remote work, have made centralized urban life less appealing. Critics of blue state policies point to these population shifts as evidence of economic and social strains. However, defenders argue that such data only tells part of the story. They emphasize the cultural richness, career opportunities, and diverse economies found in these states, along with the complex political and social factors influencing migration. Meanwhile, red states often highlight their low taxes and pro-business environments as key attractions. But these benefits also raise questions. Can these states sustain long-term infrastructure and essential services with smaller revenue bases?
Is it better than anybody?
Trump does, and he started with a rejection principle. What took him from being a joke to being a messenger was two things. One that was really missed in the media, and I was just fortunate to be covering the rallies, so I saw it sooner. We forgot how powerful celebrity is in the American psyche, and that Trump being a TV star, see, I never saw him as a TV star because I've just known him my whole life.
Not just a TV star, but one who played a boss.
Yes, and that apprentice is really everybody wanted to be him. Now, maybe not certain aspects of his personality, but the money, the power, the agency. So they missed that. But when he really turned was, I know who you hate and I know what you hate because they all come to me and I hate them too and I will make them pay.
Reflects a broader reassessment of American priorities. People are placing more value on affordability, personal freedom, and governance than on long-standing ties to traditional urban centers. The real question now is whether this trend is a temporary response to immediate challenges or the beginning of a deeper cultural and economic shift in the United States. Next voice. The shift to remote work during the pandemic has brought lasting changes to the modern workplace, inspiring both optimism and debate. On the positive side, remote work has given employees greater flexibility, helping them save time and money on commuting while achieving a healthier work-life balance. Many workers argue that their productivity has remained steady or even improved. When working from home for businesses, the benefits are also clear. Remote work has lowered operating costs and expanded access to a wider, more diverse talent pool unrestricted by location. It's a model that's redefining how and where
that Trump was ever selling himself as a cure is bullshit. He was selling himself as a virus. I will get into the political corpus and I will make it sick. And that is what sustains him, is that when the media comes after him for something, people are like, yeah, but you're kind of part of what I hate. And he's fighting what I hate. oh yeah, but he's this and that. That's what you say. But you're like that too. Everybody is, and the people who you like are like that too, but you're only going after him.
This conversation. If you found this video insightful, please give it a like, share it with others, and subscribe for more content that dives into today's most important workplace trends. Your support helps us keep the discussion going. See you next time.